Coming to you from a studio somewhere out there. It's Enough Already Radio with Fingers Malloy and Tracy O'Connor.
Good morning and welcome to another Enough Already on Wham 1600 AM Ann Arbor, Southeast Michigan. My name's Fingers Malloy. She is Tracy L. Connors. A lot going on in the news this week. We have to start off with the Manchester bombing, Tracy. And I think for a lot of people, this has really changed how you have to look at going to events, because I know when I go to NFL games or I go to concerts, you think about getting into the event and what you may encounter, but it's very rare to think about leaving the event and what you may encounter, Tracy. And there never seems to be a lot of security at these gates when you're leaving a concert or a football game.
Right. It seems counterintuitive to be performing security on the way out.
But this kind of changed everything, because this guy waited until the concert was over, then made his way in and blew himself up.
Yeah. Well, their methods are constantly evolving, and they are beyond evil, so it's not surprising. And there's no way to plan for every possible penetration point and how they're going to be able to pull off these attacks. I mean, the car things are terrifying as well, but this is a new level. This is different even from the attack at the Bataclan.
Yeah, and you brought up the car attacks too. We haven't heard much about that New York Times incident, or excuse me, Times Square incident.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you've seen the video.
No, I have not.
Oh, it's brutal. Someone put together a montage of different camera angles from security cameras. How that cat was just driving down the street like nothing was, happened, just a sunny day, and then all of a sudden he just did a U-turn and just started driving down the sidewalk, plowing into people. In New York.
Yeah, in the middle of the day.
It's brutal walking on the sidewalks in the middle of the day in New York. Just dealing with the people, let alone having to worry about some maniac deciding that it would be a good idea to do a U-turn and start plowing into people.
Yeah. Well, I immediately thought back to Lizzie Grubman. Do you remember that incident?
No.
She was a publicist, I think. She was just having a bad day. And she drove her SUV into a cafe.
Oh, jeez.
I believe, yeah. This was maybe 10, 15 years ago. So that was my first thought. But I know everybody else's first thought was, oh, my God, terrorism.
Right.
I was like, oh, maybe it's just another publicist that had mixed her meds wrong and then somebody made her angry. But this guy just sounds like he wanted to kill a bunch of people. He was angry.
Right. And it's another soft target.
Mm-hmm.
ISIS is already thrown out there to its operatives, to their operatives, that, looking for soft targets using cars. This concert was a soft target. I mean, we're always so worried about the big events like the Super Bowl. But there are so many targets that there's no security. I mean, going to your local farmer's market, seeing 300 people walking around, it's an easy target for someone wanting to take their car and plow through it. Or, I mean, this concert, this Ariana Grande concert, knowing that there are going to be young people there. It's absolutely savage and disgusting, but this is the new world that we live in. But my problem with it is we have too many people out there that say that we should just accept this.
Yeah. It's terrifying that they're just willing to roll over and just be like, this is the new normal. Get used to it.
There's nothing normal about it, and there's no way that anyone should get used to it. And we need to figure out what we can do to have events like this not happen again. And it has to be more than just, oh, we need more security. Because like you said, we're never going to be able to have every event be secure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is no situation where you can guarantee security 100%. I mean, how many times have people now gotten over the fence at the damn White House, which has got to be one of the most secure places on the planet?
Right. I did see a disturbing trend on social media. Well, there were two. I mean, the first one, obviously, was the immediate reaction by some was to worry about Islamophobia.
The backlash that never comes.
Right. You had kids leaving a concert pulling skin and other human parts that aren't theirs out of their hair, off of their shirts, and you have some Yahoo on social media saying, don't jump to conclusions. We don't need a backlash. Oh, you know what? The hell with you. So that happened. But then the other thing that happened, which was ridiculous, was because, this Ariana Grande, whatever her name is.
She pronounces it Grande. Like the Starbucks cup.
She's throwing out some political opinions that people disagree with. On the right, they almost act like she had it coming.
Yeah.
And I think it's ridiculous.
I think it is too. They should immediately reach out to her and just be like, hey, this is horrible. We don't care what you've said in the past. I mean, obviously, this is going to change her perspective. Hugely so.
You would hope.
Yes.
I mean, I saw a bunch of memes, her saying, oh, I hate America, I hate Americans. She was in a donut shop. Yeah. She's 18 years old in a donut shop, and I guess somebody was filling their face with donuts. She's like, oh my gosh, I hate Americans. I hate America. It's like, really? You're going to make it sound from that like she's one of the Dixie Chicks.
Right, and even if it was the Dixie Chicks that this happened to, it's still not time to gloat.
No.
Say, don't you feel like a jerk now for something you said before?
Unless I'm missing something. Is she Ambassador Ariana Grande? Is she Vice President Ariana Grande?
I don't know. But I mean, I don't know if you saw Katy Perry's inane remarks after this about we just all need to coexist. And then she basically launches into a cover of Imagine, no borders, no countries, that kind of stuff. Shouldn't all get along. And so if she was the target next time around, say this happens at her concert, it would never occur to me to be like, hey, remember that time that you said all this? That's exactly the kind of stuff you're talking about.
Right.
It's like, great. That took zero thought and less than zero compassion.
That's where we are today.
Oh. But I don't know what's going to happen in Britain now. I mean, they've already triggered Brexit, and it's just a matter of if they're going to be able to do anything to root out the people that are already there and planning against them. I saw Nigel Farage speaking, I believe it was on Tucker, about they know for certain that there are 400 people in Britain right now who have traveled to join ISIS and have returned. And why those people are walking around free is anybody's guess. And then the question, I mean, what do you do with them? Do you just lock them up and hold them indefinitely?
You kick them out of the country.
Right, but then
Not
where
my
do they
problem.
go?
You need to go. You need to go right now. Not my problem.
I guess so.
See, this is our border right here. You need to be on the other side of it. Yes,
Yeah.
It's wet, but still.
But that's been the problem with, it's been one of our problems with deporting people that we've captured, is that their countries won't take them back. And if these are British nationals to begin with, what do? You just drop them in the ocean?
Yes.
Okay.
If you went to hang out with ISIS, you will be dropped in the ocean.
Okay. It sounds like you could be president of the Philippines, Fingers.
I was gonna say it was the Pinochet. You're gonna go on a helicopter ride.
Yes, it was Pinochet's military guys that did that, and those were communists that they had in jail that they took on helicopter rides over the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, you're going on a helicopter ride. See if your pals in ISIS help you out.
Well, I'm saying you sound like the president of the Philippines. Duarte is how I always want to pronounce his name, but there's another T in there. So I think it's probably wrong, but that's how I'm sticking to it. And I don't know if you saw this, but they have a problem with Islamists in the Philippines. And they have a group that has two groups, and one of them has pledged their allegiance to ISIS. Mm-hmm. And he has threatened that he's put that part of the Philippines, which is, a whole collection of islands, under state of emergency. And now he's just saying, we're going to arrest people without warrants. We're going to do all this stuff. Anybody caught possessing a gun and confronting us with violence, my orders are to shoot and kill you, and I will not hesitate to do it. If I think that you should die, you will die. If you fight us, you will die. If there's an open defiance, you will die. And then he's considering allowing everybody else that owns guns that's allowed to just open carry everywhere. There you go. So he's just like, we're rooting this out. That's it. He says, do not force my hand into it. I will deal with terrorism, and I will be harsh.
There you go.
So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what these guys understand.
Yes.
Right? They're trying to pick a fight.
Well,
that's
no.
why you do stuff like this.
The proper response, Tracy, is to send Katy Perry over there to give him a hug.
Or maybe James Taylor's available.
Do you really think that Katy Perry believes the stuff that comes out of her mouth when it comes to this?
Yes. She lives in an entirely different world than we do.
Yes.
Where she's free to have those kind of frivolous, happy thoughts.
And then dance with sharks at the Super Bowl.
Correct.
No, but the problem with that is that there are many people who have those same beliefs other than rich pop singers. There was a screenshot of a tweet. Someone by the name of Samantha in New York tweeted out, "Okay, ISIS, this needs to stop right now. Seriously." It's like, oh, okay.
And you think that's not sarcasm?
I don't know. Is it?
I can't tell. I mean, to me, that sounds like sarcasm. That's how I want to interpret that. Because is anybody really that naive that they'd be like, "Oh, who was it what was the woman's name?"
Samantha
said we should knock it off, guys. We should reconsider this whole taking over the world thing. End of days, bringing about the apocalypse, those kind of things.
Katy Perry told them that we all need to love each other.
Sure. Well, I mean, that's a nice thought. I mean, wouldn't that be wonderful? But is it practical? No. And Katy Perry has seen more of the world than most people. You'd think she'd have a clue, but when she travels the world, she probably stays in 4-star accommodations, never travels outside of a city, never sees how the majority of the world lives.
But I'm sure anyone in ISIS that hears that, they're not going to say, "Oh, you know what? I never thought of it that way." Thank Allah for Katy Perry for setting me straight.
Yes.
I'm going to start loving people a little bit more. Give my neighbor a hug.
You never know what's going to get through to someone, though.
That's
Maybe
true.
if she could just change one ISIS member's mind, it'd all be worth it.
Good Lord. So that's where we're at. Apparently, his parents Came over from Libya. Is that the story?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I believe now both his father and his brother have been arrested as well.
With alleged Al-Qaeda ties, if I'm not mistaken. So.
ISIS is taking responsibility.
Oh, I thought that they were arrested because they had ties to Al-Qaeda, or Al-Qaeda.
They're tied into... They're jihadis.
Yeah,
do we need to identify which team they're on?
Doesn't matter. Well, I like to give proper credit.
We're not. Oh, sure. We wouldn't want to anger them by not giving them the props that they so deserve. But yes, his first is, I believe his parents and his brother are back in Libya. He had gone there and then returned home. And his dad popped up, of course, to say he didn't do nothing. My son didn't do anything wrong. Salman is the son, Abedi. He wasn't involved in any of this stuff. And then his brother pops up and says, "Oh yeah, he was."
So
he probably made the bomb by himself, but I helped him a little bit with the bomb.
So the dad is claiming that he spontaneously combusted while holding a bag of nuts. Is that what we're saying? That the story we're going with?
It's been known to happen, Fingers.
Okay.
You have little faith. It's one of those freak things.
Hashtag science.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. No, it's just absolutely sickening, the story. And I was in my car. I had about an hour and a half drive home, and I was trying to listen to the BBC coverage. And at some point, they switched over to cover other things. So I'm flipping through my Sirius satellite radio, and I catch the CNN feed, and it's Don Lemon.
Sorry.
Well, Don Lemon took a half hour away from his nightly Trump-Russia show to cover the bombing, and he had on this poor woman who, her 15-year-old daughter went to the show with her friend. Her name was Olivia Campbell. And he's interviewing Olivia Campbell's mother, who, of course, is in a state of shock, and she's getting on any media outlet that she possibly can to spread the word that her daughter is missing, isn't answering her cell phone. And in the background, you can kind of hear that she has CNN on in another room. So Don is listening to this woman and doesn't really know what to say to her, because there are no words in a situation like that. So he puts on his faux concerned face, and he's looking into the camera. I'm guessing I'm listening to the radio feed. And this is going on for a good 5 minutes too long, this interview, because she's, you can tell she's a wreck. And he's asking, dumb, how do you feel? That kind of garbage. And at some point, he can't take it anymore, and he says, "Can you turn your TV down?"
God,
it's like
that
wow.
Abruptly and in that kind of a tone.
Well, I may be exaggerating the tone a little bit, but it was slightly annoying to people who are watching or listening to the interview, but it's understandable.
Sure. The woman's in a complete freak-out mode. State of panic and distress.
Jeez, I'm sorry, Don, that the person in the other room has the volume of the TV up a little too loud for you. It's just terrible. And it went on for a good 15 minutes. Maybe if I had been watching it on TV, I would have flipped the channel. And I hopped over to my Twitter feed just to see what people were saying. Did a Don Lemon search, and it was almost universal. Oh my God, Don, stop talking to her. Just stop it. You're exploiting the situation. You're exploiting her grief. You're exploiting it, just one right after another. Oh, this has to stop. This is painful.
And you have to imagine that somebody in that control room has a Twitter feed up with the search for Don Lemon.
You would think.
Just like you did. to see how the audience is reacting in real time.
Yeah, because I want to know. I'm like, am I overreacting? Do people want to see this? And I'm just one right after another. Oh my gosh, make it stop. Make it stop. Which I usually think every time I see Don Lemon anyway.
Yeah, it's terrible. I mean, the whole thing, the whole exploiting bereaved family members or people that are in utter distress, to have them on television, I just find the whole thing incredibly distasteful.
Well, and then you can't please everybody, and I get that. You had some people on social media complaining that she was on TV to begin with. Like, oh my gosh, go out there look for your daughter. Well, she is. She had some family members out looking, and she's on every media outlet.
Sure.
That'll talk to her, trying to spread the word. And unfortunately, the next day, the word came out that Olivia Campbell had passed away. But it just, that's another thing I would like to see change, is how we cover stories like this. Because,
how would you do it differently?
Well, people are in such a rush to get news out there, and you brought that, we talked about that piece that Molly Hemingway wrote a couple of weeks ago regarding Trump stories, but it really had to do with terrorist attacks and other, mass shootings and stuff like that. The first news is almost always wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's, a shooting situation, whether they think there's more than one shooter, most of the time there isn't. But there's this rush to get the news out there. It would be nice for these news agencies, these news networks, to get some sort of confirmation before, reports are that this, and this, and then it's wrong.
Sure. Well, that's what they do, and then they speculate until they have another round of reports.
Yes.
And those sometimes contradict the first round. And by the end of the whole thing, the story is entirely different than what you started out understanding.
Or in this situation, maybe someone in the control room could say, hey, Don, enough already.
Yeah.
Let the woman go. We know her name. We know what the daughter looks like. We know what she was wearing. It's been 15 minutes. This woman is in pain.
I can just picture the inside of Don Lemon's brain, and all he can think is Emmy.
Right.
Emmy. Just so gross. Just leave these poor people alone. I don't know. I mean, if I was in that position, I'd be like, I don't want any family. We're not talking to family members.
Right.
It's not okay. We need to be talking to people that were on the scene that can kind of tell us what they saw, and police officers and other security personnel or, intelligence agency people. But that's it. Shouldn't put the family members through that kind of stuff.
I swear to you, halfway through it, I was hoping she was going to say Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Howard Stern's penis, Baba Booey. Just because of the way,
right?
For the reason why, the way he was treating her was just, I hope he gets burned on this.
He won't. Everyone will tell him what a great job it was and how he's the perfect person to talk to a grieving mother. And what a wonderful segment. And it's such a shame that girl didn't make it, because we could have done a follow-up where they were reunited and CNN helped bring them together.
And please do me a favor and never say Don Lemon and Emmy in the same sentence ever again, please.
Okay. That was the first and only time that sentence will ever exist.
Okay, we have to take a break. We'll be back with more Enough Already after these words.
Enough Already Radio is on Facebook. Check out the fan page, facebook.com/Enough Already Podcast. Hey, you're on Twitter. I saw that tweet, man. So is Fingers and Tracy, too. Follow us. Follow Fingers at Fingers Malloy. Follow Tracy at Tracy L. Connors. And me, I don't have a handle on Twitter. Oh, all right. Well, follow those guys. When do I get I'm just the announcer guy. Yeah. It's Enough Already Radio with Fingers Malloy and Tracy L. Connors.
Welcome back is the Enough Already radio program. I'm Fingers Malloy. Tracy L. Connors is here with me. Remember, you can find all things Enough Already at our website, enoughalready.us. We write there from time to time. You can catch the Enough Already Daily Briefly, our 2-minute daily podcast. Once again, you can check it out at enoughalready.us. Well, Tracy, should we start off with Trump overseas or how the Trump budget is going to kill us all?
Let's start with the overseas stuff.
Okay. Well, where do we begin? We can go all the way back to, the social media was in an uproar the other day when Trump was walking ahead of Melania and he reached back to grab her hand. And I'm told by Salon and the Huffington Post and the Daily Kos and all those kids over there that she slapped his hand away.
Yes, I saw the video.
What do you think?
I think she slapped his hand away.
So that means they're headed for divorce court, right? That's what I'm reading.
Of course.
The whole marriage is falling apart. I've never seen so much focus on a man's hands.
Their big, beautiful hands, Fingers. Huge.
But how big they are, how they hold his wife's hands. You showed me a story during a diplomatic handshake. There are close-ups of the handshake in this story.
Yes. Yep.
All Trump's hands all the time. From what I've been able to tell so far, it's been a successful trip.
Well, that's why they're focusing on this stuff.
Right.
Because there's no real bad news coming out of this. He's been doing really well on the international stage. He said some tough things in front of a tough crowd on more than one occasion now. I don't know that anybody else would have said to a group of Muslim leaders, you need to throw the terrorists out. Throw them out of this earth, he said. So that kind of goes back to your idea about what to do with the 400 UK residents who have been to ISIS and back. Just throw them out of this earth. So maybe next week we're going to get an announcement from NASA that we're building a giant catapult for those guys. That's always been one of my dreams. Wouldn't it be fun?
Yeah. That'd be a good job.
So, yeah. But yeah, this is why they nitpick the little stuff. And it's like, I don't care if Melania slapped his hand. Haven't you guys ever been on a family vacation before?
Oh, it's true.
You get annoyed with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I see there.
I have to believe that he is not the easiest person to get along with.
I know. You just have to keep saying it to yourself, Melania, billions of dollars, billions. Remember. That's what this is. But they want to paint this picture of Melania. I think she's very difficult for the left to dislike. So they've written this story in their heads that they then project outwards that she's a prisoner. I'm serious. Yeah. I mean, I think Chelsea Handler tweeted today or yesterday, like, hey, she tweeted a map, like, hey, Melania, Slovenia is only 12 hours from Brussels. Make a run for it. It's like, no, she chose to be there. She chose to marry him. They have a child together. I'm sure she's thrilled that she's the first lady. And I bet her life is way better than yours.
Well, now all of a sudden the left is concerned with the marriage of a president. And if it's successful and if it's happy or not. I don't recall this during the Clinton years. It was none of my business. Suddenly,
it was none of our business during the election either. We weren't allowed to talk about that again. That's personal.
Right.
Well, without double standards, the left would have none.
I mean, were we talking about escape routes for Hillary back in the 90s?
Never.
The only escape route was to the
everybody
Senate.
knew she wasn't. Yeah, she wasn't going anywhere. There's none of that.
Riding that gravy train. Leads to a seat in the Senate and a foundation where you could pocket millions upon millions of dollars to help people.
Sure, it's for the children.
When is he due back? Do you know?
we got a couple more days to go because he still has to go to Sicily for another international meeting. I believe this was the NATO meeting that took him to Brussels, and then he's on to, maybe it's not Sicily, it is Italy for the G7 meeting, I believe. And then he's back. It was supposed to be 9 days total. So we're almost to the 7th day. So I guess he's due back Sunday or Monday.
And he'll be returning to a country that is in turmoil, apparently, over his budget.
Yes, everybody's dying.
You pulled up a great piece, an editorial from the New York Post, explaining how much of what is being said about his budget is pure BS.
No. I mean, the hyperbole is just at 13 at this point. We've blown way past 11, just skipped right over 12 and hit 13.
What I'm seeing with his budget, he's returning things to pre-Obama levels. Say, for instance, the food stamps.
Mm-hmm.
And Medicaid, which has exploded in the past 10 years. To where, in the Post piece, it says 1 in 4 adults are on Medicaid. To get that number right? I mean, what do we need Obamacare for if we just expanded Medicaid to the point where 1 in 4 Americans are on Medicaid?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know why we can't just say, okay, you guys want your single payer, buy into Medicaid. Like if you're above the poverty line, then we expect you to kick in a little bit. Maybe you can make the damn program solvent, which is probably a ridiculous idea to begin with, but we could pretend.
Well, that's what all this is.
That's a single payer that we have. Mm-hmm.
This is all.
Well, it's all pretend. We're $20 trillion in debt, and they're freaking out about some minuscule cuts. It's going to be a couple trillion over 10 years. It's like, whoo, man, whatever are we going to do? Nobody's going to eat. There's going to be no doctors. Everybody's just dying in the streets everywhere we look. And this is, and these things are a joke anyway. Obama put together a budget every year and nothing ever came of it.
Right.
So this is just the blueprint, if you will, for the Republican Congress to take and throw away and produce something that we're all going to be angry about.
Well, we should even be angry about this. While I applaud some of it, the cuts in food stamps and trying to get Medicaid under control and cutting the EPA's budget. That's fantastic. But it still spends way too much money.
Absolutely. We don't have any money. It's gone. If interest rates go up, we're really in trouble. I think something I want to say, and this is just off the top of my head, so it might be completely wrong, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think 6% of the budget goes to paying interest on the debt.
Yeah, and that's just going to keep going up. Mm-hmm. But don't worry about that, Tracy.
Oh, no. It'll be fine. We'll just print more money.
What about these poor, able-bodied adults with no children that are on food stamps? They have their food stamps cut, they'll starve.
Absolutely. Yeah, of course. Pay no mind to the obesity epidemic we have.
Look, back in my early 20s when I moved out of the house, it was amazing what I could get by with on $20 a week for food. I'd go to the grocery store and buy a crap ton of mac and cheese, ramen noodles. I would buy bags of egg noodles and eat egg noodles with butter, and that would be dinner. And somehow I survived without being on food stamps. I figured out a way.
Imagine that.
You know why I climbed out of that situation? Because I got tired of eating ramen noodles every day. It got really old.
That was your motivating factor, no more ramen?
Right. There was a time, not too long ago, where people didn't want anyone to know that they were on food stamps. Mm-hmm. Now, nobody cares.
No, and they've made it so easy that you can't even really tell anymore because it looks like a debit card.
Right.
And so I'm always scrutinizing the people that are in front of me in line. I do, because I'm a terrible person. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen people with, brand new Nikes, a Coach purse, just things that you would assume means that they just have cash to pay for stuff. And then you look and they pull it out and there's the little EBT logo
right
on the card. And I'm like, well, this is a sham. Obviously, you don't need it. You can afford to have these luxury things like nice jeans, brand new sneakers, a designer purse. This is a giant scam that's going on. And that's not to say that everybody's scamming the system. I'm sure there are people that actually need those things, but there are a hell of a lot of people that don't.
I would love to either write a book or start another podcast. And it would be me interviewing grocery store clerks. I think the name would be Tales from Aisle 3.
Uh-huh.
And it would just be listening to stories about stuff like that right there. Woman or a man dressed to the nines, playing on their new iPhone 7 and paying for their groceries with an EBT.
I'm sure you'd never run out of guests.
No. No, damn well he wouldn't.
No, and then that's not even to mention the scams that go on at convenience stores with them, because they try to bar certain items. You can't buy XYZ, alcohol for one, and cigarettes. And then it's just like, okay, so the clerk doesn't care. They'll ring them up for something else and then give them what they wanted, or they'll give them cash.
Or, look, back in the food stamp days, my buddy, his dad, and he's dead. So no need to try to track this guy down. Because I'm sure people are in government worried about food stamp fraud. But he had a shop that he owned. Mm-hmm. A metal shop, not something where you could buy something. But it was in a dicey area, but he knew the locals. And he would buy their food stamps from them for, 10, 15 cents on the dollar. Give them cash and then turn around and use the food stamps to go buy steaks.
That's good business.
Yeah. Come home and have, really good dinner that night buying using food stamps that he bought. And then those people took the cash and did whatever they did with that cash. You can probably imagine what it was.
Well, you can do whatever you want with cash, but those food stamps, man, they come with some serious limitations that are just too much to deal with.
Yeah, I don't know much about them.
Oh, what would you like to know about them?
Well, first of all, if you're in Philly, will they let you buy soda with your food stamps?
I don't think you're allowed to buy soda with food stamps.
Oh, wow. That disgusts me.
I'm sorry.
I'm personally offended. No, I really don't care.
Oh, here's what you cannot buy with food stamps in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Baby diapers or wipes, which is an interesting thing. It's because they are called food stamps. You would think it only applies to food products.
Well,
so
what about,
gimme.
Wouldn't WIC cover that?
Yes, it does.
Yes,
beer, wine, or liquor, cigarettes or tobacco. Mm-hmm. You can't buy pet food, soap, paper products, or household supplies. You cannot buy vitamins or medicines.
Okay.
Food that will be eaten in the store. I don't really know what that means.
Oh, maybe like if the store has a little cafe or something like that.
Okay. It makes sense. Hot foods, which I guess is the same thing. Grooming items or cosmetics, energy drinks, or generally live animals and birds.
Oh, you can't go and buy goldfish?
All right, junk food and luxury items. So the Food and Nutrition Act of 2008 defines eligible food as any food or food product for home consumption also includes seeds and plants that which produce food for consumption by SNAP households. So ineligible for purchase on SNAP are soft drinks. I think this would be nationwide then. Soft drinks, candy, cookies, snack crackers, and ice cream are food items and therefore eligible. Ooh, there you go. So you can have all that.
Oh, wait, if
There
you're
you go.
gaming the system, okay,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have a job. You don't want a job.
Mm-hmm.
All you want to do is collect on these government programs. Why do you need an energy drink?
I don't know. Well, you got to get up the energy to go to the store and buy your stuff. That's what you have it for you're shopping. So I guess I was wrong. Your USDA guidelines say you can purchase soft drinks, candy, cookies, snack crackers, ice cream, seafood such as lobster, steaks, and bakery cakes. Wow.
I'm telling you,
Unbelievable.
that idea is gold. We need to find grocery store clerks. Start telling us the stories.
Well, I just
What they
chat
see.
with them when I go, but I don't feel like I should be asking them about that.
Why not?
It seems a little rude. I don't know. I like general chit chat with them. I usually ask them if they like working where they are because I typically do my food shopping at Walmart because I like supporting the devil when I can.
I hate Walmart.
Yeah.
It has
easy.
something to do with the lefty garbage that's thrown at Walmart, and it has everything to do with the fact that when I go grocery shopping at Walmart, if I buy 15 items, for some reason, I'll be walking out with 30 plastic bags.
Oh.
It drives me nuts. They don't do paper there. I swear, you could get a package of Kraft individually sliced cheese, a 16 count, and they'll cut open the package and take each individual slice of cheese out and put it in a plastic bag for you. It drives me nuts. It's the little things that can tick you off.
I guess so.
I don't
Can't beat the savings.
I don't want to go in or leave with 55 plastic bags.
Well, you could sell them to Californians.
That's true.
Start
Plastic
a whole business doing that.
Bag black market.
Well, you can still get them in California.
Oh, you can?
But you just have to pay for them.
Ugh, ridiculous. No,
In
I
some places.
I got a grocery store here that I like to go to. Paper bags.
Oh.
Give me a paper bag. That's what I want.
Oh, I
Because
don't want a paper bag.
I'll leave for that grocery store with 4 paper bags, and that's it. If I were at Walmart, it would be 72 plastic bags.
It's a big deal.
It's easier to carry.
Oh, it's not.
Sure it is.
Paper bags with no handles are easier to carry than
Yes.
plastic bags with handles?
Yes.
No, wrong. Wrong.
Because you try to carry
I
too
can
many
carry-
plastic bags.
Yeah,
You're trying to carry like 30 plastic bags in one hand.
I can do it.
And then you don't know what's in that plastic. One bag has eggs and bread. The other one has canned goods. They smash into each other.
Oh, what a disaster.
It is a
You're just not a good
disaster.
shopper.
An excellent shopper. Do all the grocery shopping around here. But the thing that I've noticed is because people aren't really using paper bags anymore, grocery store clerks are really bad at bagging paper bags now. It used to be a science to it. Like Tetris. You fit like 50
Yeah.
things into that paper bag. And now the clerks are ticked that you're the one that goes, "Can I have paper, please?" Like, oh. Yeah. Here's
You're
your-
totally going to expose me as the bad bagger that I am. Damn you.
Well, it's good to know that if I ever have to be on food stamps, I can get my Monster Energy drink.
And your cakes
Yes.
and your sodas and your candies and your snack crackers and lobster. I love that they have to include that. Well, wasn't it Old Dirty Bastard that was still getting food stamps?
What?
Yeah. You don't remember that?
No.
Yeah. I don't know if that was the only welfare he was collecting. Yeah.
Are we talking rich old dirty bastard or?
Yeah, we're talking about Wu-Tang Clan old dirty bastard.
I mean, when he was rich.
Yes.
He was on food stamps. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Trump shouldn't cut the budget on food stamps at all. No. I don't want old dirty bastard to starve, Tracy.
No. So he put his welfare card on the cover of his album. Yeah. This is from a site called noisy.vice.com. And so he said, Dirty was proud he was on welfare. He put his actual welfare card on the cover of his album. His dad and his mom may have worked their way out of the welfare system, but once Dirty moved out on his own and married Iceline, cool, he had to go right back into it. So Dirty put his identification card for food stamps and public assistance on the cover of his album. That was his actual card. Only his name and his address were replaced with the name of the album. But there was a story about him getting his welfare check and then riding in his limo. Yeah. Yep.
There's just nowhere to cut in the budget, Tracy.
No.
There's nothing left.
No. Cut to the bone. People are going to drop dead in the streets. They're just going to have heart attacks when they hear about the cuts. That's going to be the initial wave of deaths.
Has anyone put a microphone in old dirty bastard's face to ask about the budget cuts?
No, he died years ago knowing that this was coming.
Oh.
You forget that he was also a bit of a psychic.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
He had visions of the future, and he saw the Trump presidency, saw the budget cuts to come, and just thought, oh my God, it's the end of welfare as I know it. Dead.
Oh. I didn't know that old dirty bastard had died.
Yes.
God rest his soul. This may shock you. I don't have too much Wu-Tang Clan in the old iTunes there, in the old library.
Yeah. Well, you would think that you would at least know that ODB is R.I.P.
No, didn't know that. I stopped listening to hip hop in the early 90s. So, but back in the day, Tracy, Public Enemy, BDP, Third Base.
Snow?
No, that was a little bit later in the 90s, wasn't it? Informer? Didn't he do the Informer?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sure. Yes, that was his one hit.
Yeah. Well, we could talk about one-hit rap wonders all day, but we're out of time. Final thoughts, Tracy?
No. Use your food stamps wisely over the weekend and enjoy your holiday.
Yes, enjoy your holiday. Thanks for listening. Remember, you can find us at enoughалready.us. Check out the Enough Already Daily briefly there. Until next week, I'm Fingers Malloy. She's Tracy L. Connors. Have a great holiday weekend.
The best place for news, fake news, commentary, and fake commentary is enoughалready.us.